Chapter 9. The Cost. In this chapter, I'll be talking about one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life. I will explain what it is, and I'll explain why I did it. So, we just started dating, and it'd been a few months, and my ex-fiance came back into the picture. She just wanted to hang out. I just wanted to bring everything back together before it was. I had blamed myself after coming out of boot camp in AIT for everything falling apart. My sister had gotten married and she had grown up. I was no longer needed to protect her. And my friends had kind of separated. So it was it was very different. And I didn't like the change. So when she came back around, I figured that everything could be good. I can have the new and the old. So I started to hang out with her. Of course, Chelsea wasn't okay with this. And then I just thought it was trying to control me. I thought it was just jealousy, just petty stuff. Now looking at it, looking at her perspective, it was not. She had put a lot of faith into the man that she had fallen in love with. And I had taken that for granted. She had told me several times that Tasha wasn't out for my best interest. How could she be? Again, I just chalked this up to jealousy and paranoia and trying to control my every aspect. The mistake came, she had taken our other two children to New Hampshire with her for her sister's birthday. I could not go because I had drill that weekend. I had been at the house with Chris and Dean all week. Then we had a night where we had everybody. There was Tasha, there was Jeffrey, there was Chris, there was Dean, there was my little sister Alex, there was my other sister Amber, and everybody was spending the night. And of course, I ran that by Chelsea, because it was her house too. She had told me that everybody staying the night was fine other than Tasha, that Tasha could not spend the night. I looked at this as an insult. It was my house too. How can you tell me who and who cannot be at the house? So I was going to have her spend the night anyways. Thank God for my little sister and her big heart. She knew that if this happened, that it would hurt Chelsea. And it would probably ruin us. So she called Chelsea and let her know that she was still there. Of course, Chelsea called me and she was upset. She told me that she didn't want her at the house anymore. So I told her that she had to leave. But it didn't stop from there. Because there was several more times I went for a job interview. I was really putting out applications. I just happened to be out, and she said she was going to be out at the same time, so we met up and just walked while I was handing in applications. I didn't tell my wife that I was spending time with her. There was another time where I went to do laundry, and her apartment was just right around the corner. It wasn't too far. So I went to see her new place and just to chit chat. Everything to me was normal. But to Chelsea, she's seen the bigger picture. She's seen what was going on. I was blinded by thinking that I could just be friends. Thinking that I was in control because I was doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, and nobody could tell me what to do. Kind of an arrogant ass at that point. I thought I deserved it since all the heartbreak I've gone through before. I thought that that's what I needed to be. I needed to be different. I couldn't be that soft guy who gave in all the time anymore. I had to be a hard ass. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. this caused a huge fight. We almost split up. About this time that everything came out, she was pregnant with Logan. Tasha was trying to help me plan her baby shower. Chelsea found out about this and she took her baby shower over. Looking back at all of this, Chelsea was right. And I should have just listened to her. I should have put down my ego, put down my assholeness, and let my walls down. And just listen to her. So let this part be a lesson in listening to each other. You got to. I should have just been honest and told her that I didn't think it was fair just because. And I should have let her know my feelings. I should have let her know that I felt like I was being pushed around and told what to do. And I should have listened to hers. Because all she was hurt. And in pain. And I am absolutely sorry for that guy. It gets worse. I was in the habit of just when I text her to say, I love you. It wasn't an emotional connection. It was just old habits. More like muscle memory. Of course, Chelsea didn't believe that, nor should she. And it sounds far-fetched for me to even say. I mean, if I wasn't me, I wouldn't believe that shit. She found this out on my birthday. That caused another rift. So much so that we took Tasha out of our lives completely. She had asked me if anything else had happened, and I told her no. And I continued to tell her no until what had actually happened had been lost in my brain somewhere. That I actually believed my bullshit. The truth was that one day, I wanted to know if Tasha still had control over me. I wanted to know if the thing with Chelsea was real. So I asked for a kiss. And she had stopped over. And we went into a bedroom that was unoccupied. And we kissed. When I say kissed, I mean like kissing my mom. It was just a peck. And there was nothing. There was no sparks. There was not a thing. And then she left because her husband or fiance, whatever he was out in the car. I finally realized that Chelsea was right because she had told our mutual friend, who she knew was going to tell Chelsea, that she was messing around with a guy in our town and that she was pregnant. I got upset with Chelsea because she didn't tell me this. She held it in for a month, and I could tell something was wrong because she would lash out at me. Now looking at this, having different perspective, how could she have told me that? She was in so much pain that she couldn't have confronted me about it. Of course, it was wrong. Nothing sexual had ever come of me and Tasha. It was a stupid mistake. It surfaced years later, and I will tell you about that in a future chapter. And it's written in my notes as a future chapter. But we had worked it out. I had cut the cancer from my life, and we had started to move on. One of the sweet things was that in order for her to say yes to our marriage, I had to ask her father for her hand, and I did. According to her, when her and John got together, he asked, and he said no. So she thought her dad was going to say no, and he said yes. That made me the most happiest. I am very old school. Not very anymore. At the time, I was. I still carry older traditions with me. I believe that when you're in a, I believe that when you're in a relationship and you're going through hard things, you work on it. I was kind of an ass at this time too. I thought that just needed to go over it and for us to build and move on. I just wanted to be done with it in all reality, and I was taking it on her. If only I had Gary Vee back then. If only I had the know-it-all to stop, take a breath, and look at things from her perspective. I'm gotta slow down. I'm talking fast. If I did all that, then I would have seen that she was hurting and that it wasn't about just moving on. She needed to heal. She needed to forgive me. And what she really needed to do was separate herself from me at that time. And I kind of played at her weaknesses for me, and I shouldn't have. As you will find out later, that came to bite me right in the rear end. We were in the apartment. We stayed there a little bit after Logan was born. We had moved into a trailer. We got our own trailer. That was an exciting day to look at these trailers and to be able to put $3,000 down on a trailer. So we picked out, we were looking at two of them. One of them had a big window in the front of one of the bedrooms, and it was close to my parents' trailer. The other one was just a row over from my parents, two, maybe, I think. But it had, in one of the bedrooms, it had its own bathroom. Like the bathroom was at the end of the trailer. This trailer was beautiful. So we decided on that one. We had moved in. We had my son's birthday, his first birthday. Him and my oldest shared a room, and the princess had her own room, and we had ours. We all spent the first night in the living room. We have so many fond memories in this trailer. Kids would go to the bus stop. This was the first time that Ari had asked my father what she can call him, because she didn't know what to call him. We hadn't been married yet, and she didn't know. And he said, "You can call me whatever you want." The girls, my nieces, call him Papa. And Ari asked if she can call him Papa. And I don't think that there was a few times in his life where that man had smiled that big. She loves her Papa. She loves everybody. Johnny calls him Papa. Of course, my father gives him, he messes around with him. Not harsh. Johnny knows that. Papa's just playing, and Johnny's come to do what everybody else does and just ignore Papa. Our first Christmas, we had a fake Christmas tree. It was white. Living in that trailer just seemed to make everything better. We had my parents right there. At one point, we had a few people live with us, one at a time. We had my brother-in-law, Billy. He lived with us. Him and my sister had split up I had the girls. It was mainly because I got to see the girls a lot. And then we had Dean living with us for a while. That was interesting. He is a great friend. He has his ways about him. If you ask anybody, it's just a tourist thing, I guess. So everything happened to be fine. We were on track for planning our wedding, and we happened to be enjoying each other. I think we argued less in that trailer. The things we did argue about were things that, of course, we're going to argue about because we didn't sit down and set up a list of rules on how to deal with the children. At that point, I didn't know entirely. I was trying not to overstep. Johnny was needing help in school, and I didn't know how to help him at the time. So it wasn't fighting. It was just arguments over difference of opinion. We also financial. We have a difference of opinion about that. I can personally give a rat's rear end about money. If you're looking for money for happiness, then you are barking up the wrong tree. And to me, money is man-made. It is meaningless. We are supposed to have this commodity, and it's supposed to equal our gold and silver, and by now it isn't, and we are trillions of dollars in debt. Yeah, that's an actual word, trillion. Like, if you get over a million, a billion, actually, the words start to become a little ridiculous sounding. But I understand her perspective. You need money to eat. You need money to live. At this point, I had definitely taken the role of caregiver at the house. But let me just give the rundown of the trailer. So, you walked in, and there was a living room. It was a decent sized living room. Probably about the size of the room I'm in now, which is a decent sized room. If you walked to the right, you went down the hall. To the left was my daughter's room. That was perfect size for her little self. She had a closet. She had a bed and a dresser with a TV. You walked further down, all the way at the end of the hallway, was my son's room. At first, they had a bunk bed. That became a hazard when the little one could start to climb. So we had to switch that out. They had a dresser and they shared the TV. Right before their room was the bathroom, which everybody shared. Decent sized bathroom. Going the other way, if you walked in the house and you walked into the living room and you went left, there was the kitchen / dining room. It was a kitchen, but had this little nook type thing for a table. And then if you walked a little bit further to your left was an laundry room. We had our washer and dryer, and then the door to the outside. And then if you walked all the way to the end of the house was our bedroom, which was maybe a little bit bigger than this room. Maybe. It had a closet, and then if you walked all the way to the back of the trailer was our bathroom. It was all lined up. It was a toilet, a sink, and a shower. I spent a couple of drunken nights in the bathtub. It was a quiet, it was kind of quiet community. One of the times I went trick-or-treating, I was pushing Logan, and I happened to get a beer from a guy. That was my trick-or-treat. All in all, it was a good part of our life. We started the healing process, and everything started to look up from there. With that being said, thank you for listening to Chapter 9. Tune again tomorrow for another chapter. Thank you for listening. Much love. JD out.